The first batch of files, it was really a mixed bag. Some of the cases were pretty easy to explain, and there was a case where customers and staff at a pub saw a white light surrounded by a red and green flashing light, and then they were asked where this was, and they said it was over Gatwick Airport. There was another case, marvellous one, involving a man who said that he had been in physical and psychic contact with an extraterrestrial called Algar, and just as first contact was about to be made, sadly Algar was killed by another race of space aliens, and then the letter finishes up by saying, so that of course was that. Some of the cases were more interesting and difficult to explain. There was a case where some members of the public reported a UFO to the police. The police turned up on the scene, and some of the officers saw the UFO themselves. They had it under observation for about an hour, and they even produced quite a detailed sketch. When I look with my Ministry of Defence background at these cases, what I conclude is this: most of these sightings can be explained as misidentifications of something quite ordinary, aircraft lights, weather balloons, meteors, etc. But some of them, when these things are seen by police officers, seen by pilots, when they're tracked on radar, when there's convincing film footage, that's more difficult to explain.
This footage may look like a spacecraft, but it's actually car headlights and a night sky shot by a film crew. Lorraine Senior from Leeds has often seen lights in the night sky.
The first one I ever saw was about 12 years ago, and nobody believed me, obviously, you know what I mean, thought I was mad. And then I saw one not so long back, and it was really weird, and I phoned my family up saying, look out now, because my mother and father live like sort of Wakefield way, but they live like near the motorway like I do. They can see everything. I told them to go outside and have a look, and my dad went out, he couldn't see a thing. But I was literally watching it, and it was going absolutely berserk in the sky, spinning, going all different angles, different colours.
We thought she was drunk. I says, Lorraine, you're drunk. You know, basically just get yourself a coffee and go to bed. And she were insistent that she'd seen something, so I says, well, next time you see something, just film it. And obviously as time and years gone on, you know, she's phoned me many a time and said they've been outside again tonight, they've visited me again. So this time she did film it, and we have got proof, hopefully, that there is something out there. Oh God, the other one's come back. There's no getting away from this, I haven't moved my arm.
There was a ginormous full moon, and it was literally on my balcony. It was that close. And I got my camera, phone camera, to go film it. And I couldn't pick it up whatsoever with the camera. And as I turned, searching, these things appeared. And they was going funny in the sky, and I thought, at last, I've got something to show someone. You know what I mean? So now they're going to believe me.
I've seen this footage, and it's quite interesting. At first I was a little bit dismissive. I thought, well, maybe it's fireflies, maybe it's bats, moths, something like that. But it's odd that they seem to move. The two objects seem to move in conjunction with each other. This is the sort of footage, of course, that if I was still working at the Ministry of Defence, I would have all sorts of equipment and specialist expertise which could be brought to bear on this. This area of Yorkshire does seem to be a bit of a UFO hotspot over the years. Certainly there have been sightings in and around the Ilkley area. A very famous case actually involving somebody who took a photograph purporting to be an extraterrestrial entity on the moor. It's a little bit grainy, it's a little bit vague, but there's certainly something there.
Nigel Mortimer is a ufologist who conducts guided walks on Ilkley Moor. He's studied the strange story of the Green Man.
We're actually stood at the exact location of what they call the Little Green Man, the alien entity photograph. It was taken in 1987, December 1987, by an ex-policeman from Ilkley who came along this track and actually captured on film a small 4-foot-high green entity. Nearby at White Wells, the building on the edge of the moors, in the 1800s there was a claim of strange sort of presences around the wells of small green-like creatures, which obviously in those times there was no UFOnauts or UFOs. They were classed as fairies and such like. A businessman from Ilkley actually witnessed these at White Wells. Now I think it's a bit strange that we've got this green entity being seen again here, only a stone's throw away from White Wells, but in the context of a euphanaut, of an alien entity.